Hey everybody, Eric Seidel here. Welcome to episode 10 of Nobody's Listening with Eric Seidel. Hey there, Eric. The acoustics sound a little different than usual. Well, that's because I'm sitting out in my backyard enjoying a cigar because apparently Mother Earth is going through menopause. And this is one of those moments where it's like, hey, it's a nice warmish day out. No need to pop on a hoodie. Head on out to the backyard and enjoy the night. Don't worry, it's a cheap one. I only smoke the cheap ones. Well, even if I could afford the expensive ones, from what I hear, they're overrated as fuck. So it doesn't really matter. As long as it's from Nicaragua, you'll see me puffing it. It is currently November 6th, 2023. I don't know, sometime after 10 p.m. Doesn't really fucking matter. I don't care. Nobody cares. Nobody's listening. But today's subject matter that I'd like to talk to you guys about is also kind of a channel announcement. On November, there is this challenge known as National Novel Writing Month, in which some poor schmuck has to write 50,000 words of a novel within 30 days. Now, I learned about this like 15 years ago, something like that. I was in college at the time. And I tried to participate. I wrote maybe 20,000 words of a novel. And then I was like, yeah, I never made it to the end of it. But every year after that, what I decided to do was I decided to try and write 50,000 words of, anything creative. Short story, article, even crap that I wrote down on my notepad and decided to, transfer over on the, computer. What's that called? Yeah, dictation. Oh, also, disclaimer, I also got like maybe 7 shots of bullet bourbon in my system and like 9 Yinglings in me, but that was like 5 hours ago, so it's, I'm still kind of, just bear with me. By the way, congratulations to the Ravens for beating the Seahawks. And not only did they beat the Seahawks, I'm sure there's going to be some ointment required on the way back to Seattle. But no, that's not what this episode's about. What I'm getting at here is the last 10 years I have not participated in National Novel Writing Month. And until I get the time and the money to do it, I will not be participating in National Novel Writing Month. But that does not mean that I, Eric Seidel, do not have other creative endeavors that I want to do that's writing worthy. So, since this is November, what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to try to dedicate at least 2 hours of my day. And I recommend you do this too. If you're an aspiring writer, try to devote at least 2 hours every day. Even if you come home from work, even if you work like a ball-bustingly terrible job, try to work 2 hours on your creative endeavors. I don't care how physically tired you are. Smoke some sativa, take a shot of something, whatever the hell it is you need to do, and spend at least 2 hours writing. Even if it comes out sounding like, what the hell did I write last night? Just fucking write. Just do it. It might not end up being 50,000 words by the end of November, but at least it's going to be something. In my case, since I'm not narcissistic, but this is my show, so shut the fuck up for a second. In my case, I do have a novel that is mostly written. I'd say it's about 60% done, even though I got to go back and redo a lot of it. I mean, I'm not saying I'm Henry Miller or anything, but, I do have something that I would like to go back and rewrite before I even attempt to submit it to anybody. Now, the submission process, that's the tricky bitch of the whole writing thing. See, there's different types of publishers out there. For example, there's this one publisher known as Dorrance Publishing that's been around since, 1920, whatever. And the thing is with them is you can submit wherever you want to them. But then they're going to say, oh, yeah, well, just pay us $2,400 and we'll print it out and publish it. And it's like, oh, slow your roll there, man. What the hell? Wait a minute, what? I'm paying you to publish my stuff? That doesn't sound right. I mean, if that sounds right to you, maybe I don't know. I'm off or something. I know there's been a recession. There's been a couple of them since 2008. But what? I'm paying you to publish my shit? What? That doesn't sound... So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to find like one of those, actual publishing companies that pays you money to write the whatever. And I'm going to work on that starting tomorrow. And then, there's a couple other things I got to do tomorrow before I even get around to that. But that's what I think I'm going to focus on this month. Instead of doing National Novel Writing Month, it should be more like National Try to Actually Get the Goddamn Thing Published Month. You know what I mean? Especially since I've already almost got an entire novel written out. The reason why I keep walking away from it is because, A, like I just said, I can't find a publishing company that will actually give me an advance so that I have the time and the money to pay my bills and actually write the fucking thing. And secondly, it's the inspiration part. And this is the other subject matter of today's episode that I have to bring up. Inspiration. Now, in my case, the inspiration for writing a novel, and I'm talking about a novel, I'm not talking about my Hub Pages stuff. I'll get to that in a minute, if I even get to that. When writing a novel, you got to find the inspiration for your subject matter. Say you're writing a, I don't know, maybe you're a historian. Go to a library, look up the subject. Don't just Google this shit. Go to a library, look it up. Why do you go to a library? Well, because you're going to be around other people, and you're going to be inspired to want to seem like you're actually doing something. Otherwise, they're just going to look like you're staring at your fucking laptop screen. You don't want to do that. You want to actually look like you're doing something. You don't want to be like one of those beta male schmucks at a Starbucks that pretends like they're writing the next, whatever they're writing. I don't know. It might be a LGBT barbecue manifesto or something when we're talking Starbucks here. But if you're trying to write something, that actually matters, then perhaps, something non-toxic, then perhaps you might want to go to a library and do a little bit of research and not rely on whatever search engine you prefer to use. In my case, my story, and this is a working title, it's called In the Shadow of Justice. And it's about a vigilante that lives in Baltimore. Hold on now. It's tricky because it's not just the one guy, it's a couple of people. And the hard part about writing this novel is trying to make the audience realize, hey, it might not be character A that's doing this, it might be character C, or it might be character B, or it might be character D. That's the hard part. It's easy to do that kind of shit when you're making a movie, but when you're trying to write a novel, I don't think people catch on to that stuff, and that's the reason why I haven't published it in a long time, because I got the idea in my head. I'm basically going to be fucking with the reader, just full disclosure. But it's getting it actually written out. I got the ending, I got the beginning, it's putting all the pieces in between. That's the hard part of writing. Someone once said, start at the ending, work your way back. Okay, that's a great idea when it comes to writing a story, but what you want to do is try to figure out what the hell you're going to put in between. It's one thing to have the foundation of a house. It's easy to put down cement. It's easy to put down gravel, asphalt, etc. It's also easy to put a roof on something. Putting in the pipes and the electrical work, putting up the walls around it, the windows, sealing them in, make sure there's no draft, that's where the hard shit comes in. And writing something is just like building a structure. Jesus. In case you guys haven't figured it out, last couple days, what am I saying, days? Jesus Christ, it's been more like months. I feel like I've been stuck, I feel like I know exactly what it is I want to be doing, and I know exactly how I need to get there, but it's finding the right pathway That's the bitch. So in a way, writing is almost like life. You write something. Oh, you got an idea? Great for you. Good. Oh, you know how it ends? Perfect. You'll be able to throw that into the pitch. How do you get there? That's advice I can't give anybody. Part of me thinks I might be fucking around too much with this YouTube stuff. That might be part of it. Because, well, no, that's not the problem. That's not the issue. No, that's not the issue. It's having time to actually do anything creative. See, it's easy for you to be the content creator. Having the time to create the content, that's the kick in the ass. So, yeah, even though I made the excuse, like, I don't know what, a year and a half ago that I wanted to focus more on my hub pages stuff, that's not the problem. None of it's the problem. Hell, even if I was a millionaire, I would still have a problem. It's the motivation. That's the hurdle. Motivation. Christ, I wish I could give you advice on like, hey, here's how you get your motivation to do XYZ or whatever. I have no goddamn idea. But one thing I can tell you guys for certain is that this month, November, even though it's National Novel Writing Month, and you're supposed to start like a whole new novel, even though at the beginning of like November 1st, that ain't happening. I'm not doing that. Fuck that with a 20-foot pole, trident, sharp stick, whatever. I am not bringing a safe word to that party, metaphorically. I've already got a novel. I just got to finish that son of a bitch, and I should be okay. I also have, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 other ideas for novels in my head that I haven't even started yet, and I don't want to pile on to what I've already got. Then you suddenly become a creative hoarder. There is such a thing as, like, what I call the creative hoarder. You know, you start like, oh, well, hey, I got this idea for a movie. That's great. Okay, write it down, make the notes, get it all out. Good. You don't have to necessarily go write a script or anything, but just write it out. And when you get the inspiration to want to do it, hey, just come back to it. You know what I mean? Hell, even Quentin Tarantino had like a whole drawer full of like novels and scripts and stuff that he turned into movies eventually. Took him like, I don't know what, 15 years, but he eventually got around to doing it. You just jot all that stuff down with cocktail napkins, papers, and put it off somewhere, and then you go, oh, yeah, hey, I got an idea for that. And then you go into your filing cabinet, get it out, and you actually make something out of it. But the thing is, you don't want to be a creative hoarder. You don't want to write down a bunch of ideas, have a whole bunch of movie, video game, novel, TV show, etc. ideas, and then you put them all in there in your brain somewhere. And then creatively, next thing you know, you got a mummified cat like that fucking A&E show. I mean, well, you know, I don't know what the mummified cat would represent here metaphorically, but yeah, you don't want to do that. That's basically the best piece of advice I got for you is if you have something creative, stick to that until you run the drive to want to write it, and then go off to something else. Which is probably why I haven't worked on my hub pages in ages. I'm starting to probably sound like a real narcissistic prick doing this episode. I swear to God, I'm not. Hell, I think subconsciously this might be some giant cry for help. Because I already know, well, I don't know for certain because I'm not like a computer expert, but I already know somewhere in my brain there's like an algorithm that's like, Eric Seidel, who the fuck's that? Yeah, just push him off to the side somewhere. Hey, what's the Kardashians doing this time? Make them trendy, give them millions. You know. So, it's like, who the fuck am I? I'm nobody. And I don't mean like an awesome nobody, like Bob Odenkirk. I don't mean like that. I'm just like, who the fuck am I? Once again, like I said, I'm sorry if this sounds a little self-centered with this episode, but I swear to God, that's not what I'm going for. But in all seriousness, you're not going to be hearing from me for a bit, for the next couple months. Because even with the creative bullshit, I drive for Uber. That's what pays the bills. I drive for Instacart. That's what pays the bills. And believe me when I tell you, Thanksgiving's right around the corner, people. I don't care if you're some fat blue-haired Karen person who doesn't like, statues of Columbus or whatever the fuck, and you like to tear history down and jump on it and jerk yourself off to being woke or whatever. I don't give a shit about that. The point is, the holidays for the rest of us normal folks, are coming right around the corner. And, yeah, it's, I'm going to be busy as shit until about January. So I probably won't be seeing you guys until after the new year. Even if you see me post anything on my YouTube or stream anything on my Twitch before January, folks, that's going to be a rarity. Yeah, it's probably because, oh wow, I managed to find some space in between chaos to fucking do it. So yeah, in a way, this is some kind of weird channel announcement, as well as it's an episode of Nobody's Listening with Eric Seidel, while I change the tone of my voice in a radio channel type kind of sound. I know, it's annoying for me too. I'm literally having a headache doing that shit. So, to close it off on something positive, now who am I kidding, there's nothing positive, but to close it off on something, just, I know the economy's shit, and I know this country's shit, even though America's the greatest country in the world, despite what the assholes running it want you to think. Just try to be cool to each other, okay? Just be chill to each other. We're in a down spot. It's going to get better eventually. It will be. I promise you. It's going to get better. I don't know how. I don't know when. Or any of the adjectives. Don't ask me. But just keep your shit together is the best advice I could give you. I wish I could listen to myself with that. You don't have to mentally keep your shit together, but just, keep trucking on is what I'm saying. Be good to your families. Take a deep breath and just keep trucking on. Thanks for listening, everybody. Please like, share, subscribe. And maybe I'll see you after the new year. Peace out.